internet. We here at Nerdlocker are giving you a special little segment all about Spider-Man.
Specifically, Superior Spider-Man.
Yes. So if you haven't read Amazing Spider-Man 700 or Superior Spider-Man #1, this is going to have a lot of spoilers in it, so probably check those out before you watch this video.
Feel free to pause and then come back.
Now.
Yeah, go ahead and pause. This is the perfect spot to pause, but because we're going to continue. So, a brief synopsis of what happened at the end of Spider-Man, number...
Yeah, 700.
Yeah, 700.
Doc Ock and Peter Parker, or Doc Ock has put his consciousness in Peter's body. He's taken Peter's consciousness and put it in his dying Doc Ock body. And Peter tries to get his body back. All this crazy stuff happens. It doesn't work out, and Peter Parker dies in Doc Ock's body.
What's good, though, is that in this last moment, we see Doc Ock go through a whole bunch of memories of Peter's, and he kind of understands why he's such a good person and everything.
And he's like, I'm not going to be a villain as Peter Parker. I'm going to be Spider-Man. I'm going to be a better Spider-Man. I'm going to be the Superior Spider-Man.
Hence the name.
Okay, so Superior Spider-Man #1. Kind of real heavy on the Doc Ock stuff. He's not doing a very good job of, like, hiding. Like, he's talking totally different than Peter talked. You know, he's using the whole, he's very proper and a little pretentious sounding, but that's Doc Ock. He's a genius.
Yeah,
so, you know.
Definitely. He's not his normal hilarious self, is what we're saying.
Yes, Spider-Man looks way more serious. He's got upgraded tech, all this crazy stuff. But the issue ends, and he's about to punch the final blow in on Boomerang, and Ghost Hand comes up, and it's Peter Parker. And Peter Parker's like, I'm still in this. I don't know how I'm hanging on, but I'm going to win my body back.
So before we continue, at the end of Spider-Man, we know that everyone has been completely pissed since that happened. I mean, it's...
there's been death threats to Marvel, Dan Slott.
Yeah, there's people that are saying, I will never read a Spider-Man issue ever again, and I think that's a little bit overkill. But some are also saying, well, I just won't read a Spider-Man issue until Peter Parker is back.
Comes
now, Superior Spider-Man #1, Peter Parker is technically back.
Technically, so you can start picking up Superior Spider-Man.
I think that over there at Marvel, they kind of might have crapped their pants a little. And
the ending to this issue is something I thought we'd see down the line in this book.
I thought it
would be like, oh man, Peter's still in there, and then like they give you that hint, and then when it gets time for the movie to come out and they bring Peter Parker back, that's when this is going to happen. Being that they introduce as the first issue, I don't know what their gameplay, like it does. How long are you going to be able to go on like this?
Yeah, and I just want to say this, that knowing that he's coming back, I would have really rather seen him come back towards, having some kind of build-up. There was no build-up.
No,
and it's just absolutely wasted.
This is one issue, and it's like, oh my God, he's back. So it's kind of like, Spider-Man 700 came out, and they gave you 2 or 3 weeks to kind of prepare and be like, okay, when I pick up Superior Spider-Man, this is different, it's new. Like, I was ready. I was adjusted. I was ready to read this book. I'm going through, I'm like, okay.
I don't know, but you were pretty mad. You were not ready.
I was mad, but I understood what I was getting into.
At least you just didn't swear off Spider-Man. That's great.
No, I love Peter Parker.
Right.
I still think Marvel treats Peter Parker like crap.
Absolutely.
Always.
I mean, it's really because of the editor. It's like.
Yeah, like I just don't get. I mean, ever since
we don't want Spider-Man. We don't want Spider-Man to ever be married because apparently it'll never work. It'll.
Well, the thing that they say is like he's not relatable enough. But what I loved about him being married was like he's relatable because he's insecure and he's got all these problems. But then he's married to the hottest girl on the planet, so I was always okay with that. But One More Day, they did all these things to change it, and then they changed everything back, and then I feel like my idea for this is I thought they were going to have like a year and a half of the best Spider-Man stories you ever read. And then Reed Richards or Doctor Strange would come out and be like, oh, you're not Peter Parker.
Right.
And they'd undo it. And everything would be back to normal for Peter. He'd be with Mary Jane. He'd be doing all this kind of stuff. And it seems like they're still setting up for that. But it almost seems like they're just trying to like do this, switch it over so you can get Spider-Man back.
Well, I feel like they've made enough mistakes with Spider-Man, but I want to say that I'm not really all that upset about this. I think that this is comics, this type of thing happened, and it really could end up meaning a huge arc at the end of the year for all of Marvel comics right now. Not
really
Spider-Man.
could.
It could really end up to be Spider-Man being a huge villain and to be a big chase down. And maybe Spider-Man could get the attention that he really deserves.
Yeah.
You know, and that would be really fun. Steve Rogers figures it out, and it's got to be this. He's got to go underground and figure out who he can trust, and that would be awesome.
I see this as doing something big for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But like I said, I was just kind of disappointed that in the first issue we get this like, still there, and I think that may have been just to make everyone happy because of the negative.
Yeah, but he's going to have a
come
huge influence, and I don't think that the storyline. I mean, if he can just stop his hand at any moment, you know,
That's what I'm
there's
thinking,
not going to
too.
be any chase down by the other heroes, and it's not. I really don't see it ending up being a big Marvel arc like I was hoping when I first heard this was happening. You know, and it's upsetting. You know.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot we don't know that's going to happen, but I mean, all in all, I have to say, with all the hate out there, everything else, I'm with you. It's a comic book. How many times Bruce Wayne died?
Yeah.
Steve Rogers died. Everyone's
get
been
that
dead.
upset.
They come right back. It's like you have to understand this is temporary.
Right. And it will. I think it will get good at one point. I think we'll just have to be patient.
But I'm
along,
along for the ride.
I am. I don't exactly trust Slott right now.
I don't either.
But I'm gonna.
I assume he's got
some
good
faith.
intentions for this.
Yeah. So tell us what you guys think. Comments below.